Interior restaurant, night. Candles flicker, glasses clink. Discreet waiters glide from table to table. Soft music tinkles in the background. French, or maybe Italian. In the middle of it all sit Evie and Noah, both in their 40s. They're smartly dressed and attractive. There's a coldness between them. Noah forks a scallop and pops it in his mouth. Evie watches him wolf down his food. She looks disgusted. He's oblivious.
It's bloody gorgeous. Want to try?
No, thanks.
You're making me uneasy.
Sorry.
She picks at her food. Noah watches her, growing more and more frustrated. He gets out his phone, types something in, and scrolls down a few times.
The service is amazing. I was a little nervous at first, but we got home to 3 happy kids and the fresh treacle tart straight from the oven. Would definitely use again. 5 stars. I was so worried leaving my daughter with them, but she never even noticed we were gone. Absolute godsend. 5 stars. Friday night's date night, so we've been...
Please stop.
You just tell me what you're worried about.
It's unsettling. He's our baby.
Noah softens, puts his hand on top of hers.
Hang on. Sorry. But chin up, okay? What if the worst doesn't happen?
He smiles. She glares back daggers. Interior hallway later. An expensively furnished space. Watercolours in ornate frames. A grandfather clock. A garish chandelier. The big oak front door swings open and Evie and Noah come in. He's a little tipsy.
I'm going to check.
Brace yourself. Could be gruesome.
She ignores him and makes her way upstairs. Interior bedroom, later. Evie pokes her head around the door, nervous about what she'll find. It's dark inside. A shaft of moonlight illuminates a sleeping child. She sits down next to him and strokes his head. Her breathing gets fast and short, and she's staring at him so intently it looks for a moment like she might grab him and run. She bursts into tears, trying so hard not to make any noise that the heavy sobs make her body shake. Eventually, she regains her composure, wipes away the tears, and takes a few deep, calming breaths. She tiptoes back out onto the staircase and makes her way downstairs. She can hear Noah's voice drifting up from below.
Give you any trouble, do you think?
Absolute angel. He pretty much took himself to bed the moment the clock struck 9.
Must have the magic touch. Evie will be relieved. She's been a bit nervous about this.
Oh, that's totally normal. He's your baby.
Evie makes her way into the kitchen. She stops, dead. She starts breathing deeply again, her hand on her heart. There are 2 Noahs, both holding glasses of wine, and another Evie. These doubles are identical, down to the smallest detail.
Come and say hello, Dan.
Evie composes herself and takes a step forward. She shakes Noah 2 and Evie 2's hands. Noah looks embarrassed.
Sorry about this. Nothing personal.
Evie 2 gives Evie a sympathetic smile.
Are you all right? I'll be fine. First time, you know? Same.
Noah 2 finishes off his wine and puts the empty glass down on the counter.
Right then, let's leave these good people to it.
He puts his arm around Evie 2, who cuddles up to him.
Thanks a lot, guys. Same time next month?
8 p.m. on the dot.
Noah 2 and Evie 2 make their way out of the kitchen. The front door clunks shut. The only sound is the ticking of the grandfather clock in the hallway. Noah turns on Evie, furious.
You could have been more civil.
Sorry.
No, you don't have to apologise. It's just... Do you know how long it's been since I saw you smile like that?
No.
A long time. A very long time.
Evie nods. She can't make eye contact.
Do you mind if I go to bed?
Noah pours himself another glass of wine.
Do you mind if I don't?
Interior restaurant, night. Noah and Evie sit at the same table in the same restaurant. Evie's had a haircut.
What do you mean, younger? She can't be.
I don't know. She just looked sort of fresher, I guess. You'll see when we get home.
He pops a scallop in his mouth and shuts his eyes tightly, like he's experiencing a moment of sheer, unbridled joy. Evie watches the whole thing with her usual look of disgust.
God, these are good. You really should try one.
Evie ignores him and takes a tiny mouthful of her food.
How's the risotto?
Fine.
Just fine?
Yes, fine. What do you want me to say?
I don't know. Use some adjectives.
It's the same as it always is.
I've been thinking we should go away somewhere. Fiji or Easter Island. Somewhere really fucking far away.
Why?
What do you mean, why? Because it'll be exciting, an adventure, that's why.
He waves a scallop-tipped fork at her.
This isn't exciting. This is the opposite of exciting. It's fucking inciting.
Sorry.
I didn't mean... You know I love you. But this isn't how I... It's just not... We need something to shake us up.
I guess we could take a couple of weeks off during the school holidays. Seth's finding it difficult at the moment, and I don't want to...
Not the school holidays. Fuck a couple of weeks. I'm talking months, maybe even a year. We'll leave the kid with the doubles.
I'm not leaving him with the...
I knew you'd say that. I knew it.
It's not natural. You can't just keep palming off your son on some glorified lab experiment. Especially not at the moment. He's really struggling.
Come on, it'll be fine. I honestly don't understand what your problem is. It comes out of my pocket, as always. And as far as he knows, we've never left him for 1 minute. He can't tell the difference. Fuck, even I can't tell the difference.
But I can, Noah.
She holds his gaze for a few seconds. Noah breaks away first and goes back to his food.
I'll look into it in the morning. We can get a few world-class hotels. I bet that'll ease the guilt.
He smiles at her cheekily. She's having none of it. Interior hallway later. Evie and Noah come in. They're greeted by Evie 2 and Noah 2.
How was the little tyke?
Joy, of course.
Evie stares at Evie 2. She's had the exact same haircut. So that's why Noah said she looked younger.
Glad to hear it. Do you have a haircut?
Evie 2 blushes a little and smiles.
Thanks for noticing.
Noah gives her a wink.
You can't get much past me.
Evie's watching the whole thing with that same expression of disgust. Noah 2's watching Evie, looking concerned. He walks over to her while Noah and Evie 2 flirt in the background.
Is everything all right?
Evie looks at him like he's from another planet, like she's forgotten what it's like when Noah's kind to her. He reaches out to touch her shoulder and she instinctively recoils.
Sorry. That was the wrong thing to do.
Evie looks down and shakes her head. When she looks up again, her eyes are full of tears.
No, it's okay.
Noah 2 nods. He wraps his arms around her, engulfing her in a big hug. Noah notices out of the corner of his eye.
About time for you to go now, isn't it?
Noah 2 reluctantly lets go of Evie. He smiles his big smile at Noah.
Of course. You folks have a great evening now.
The doubles make their way out. Noah closes the door behind them.
You want to tell me what that was all about?
I'm going to check on Seth.
Interior bedroom later. Evie opens the door and checks on her son. He's sound asleep. She sits down next to him and strokes his head. She's focusing on something on the other side of the room. It's a rucksack. Interior stairs later. Evie makes her way down the stairs. She looks calm and composed.
Fucking hell.
Evie's shocked by the outburst and hurries down.
What?
She half runs into the kitchen. Noah's looking down at his phone screen.
Look at this place. It's an academy of the islands in Fiji. Every room has its own hot tub and a balcony overlooking the ocean. Basically paradise on earth.
Evie smiles, puts an affectionate hand on his back.
Wow, it looks incredible.
Noah can't quite believe what he's hearing.
Really?
She nods again.
You should book it before someone else does.
Noah goes back to his phone and starts swiping through photos.
The reviews are out of this world, Eve. It's going to be unforgettable.
Evie's not listening. She's lost in thought. Interior kitchen, day. The house is silent apart from the ticking clock. Evie sits at the table, staring at nothing in particular and biting her nails. She checks her watch, starts drumming her fingers on the wood. Ding dong! She makes her way into the hallway and opens the front door. There's a young boy outside. He's identical to Seth.
Thank God. Come in.
He does as he's told. Evie kneels down in front of him.
I'm going out for a bit, but your mummy will be home soon, okay?
The boy nods.
Good. You're going to be fine.
Evie stands up and leaves the house, closing the front door behind her. Driveway continuous. There's a family saloon car waiting on the gravel. Seth looks out at her through the back window. She gets behind the wheel and closes the door. She turns around and smiles at her son.
Ready for an exciting adventure?
Seth nods, smiling. She drives away. Restaurant night. Noah sits at the usual table in the restaurant, eating the usual bowl of scallops. In Evie's spot, there's a bowl of risotto, but right now, Noah's alone. A few beats while Noah stares at the risotto opposite. Evie too walks over, gives Noah's shoulder a squeeze and sits down with a smile. The tense atmosphere between them is gone. They're like a couple of newlyweds.
What's it so long?
Just powdering my nose, darling.
Noah puts away his phone.
Everything's booked.
Can't wait.
Going to be the adventure of our lives, Eve.
Just you and me and the deep blue sea.
Noah smiles back and turns his attention to his dinner. Evie picks up her fork, prongs one of the scallops from his plate, and pops it in her mouth. She closes her eyes as she chews, as if she doesn't want her other senses to get in the way.
Buttery, garlicky, a little juicy. Gorgeous.